Cooking block. Hello everybody, we're back here with a knife review or knife discussion on the Cock and Block. We're showing you a couple of our favorite knives and some thoughts about it. We've actually had some questions, so we just wanted to cover those questions and get your thoughts about your favorite kinds of knives to buy and what you look for when you buy a knife. We'll cover those here. Next on the Cock and Block.
He said like it was a question.
All right, let's do
Cock and Block.
let's do it again.
Okay.
Do the question face again. Hold on, let me get it out of my face.
Wait, hold on. Are we doing the thumbnail right now?
Yeah, just. All right. It's actually a good one.
That's cool. Okay, we'll just keep going.
Okay, let's keep going. All right, we're back here on the Cock and Block. We're going to be talking about our favorite kinds of knives, what we look for when we buy knives, and when we talk about quality, what we mean. Because we've had some questions about quality, and some people wanted to know kind of what our mindset is when we talk about quality steel versus steel that we feel is maybe a little bit subpar when we see it. So,
or budget, if you will.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, I don't have a whole lot of money, so most of my knives are budget. And I think of the knives that I've purchased for myself, this is the most expensive. You can get this Matt Graham signature knife from Condor, made in El Salvador, for between 70 and I don't know, maybe $100. I got mine for about 70. So
that's a good price for that blade.
That's
a really nice blade.
I bought this one at eBay, so I don't
nice.
I don't know if Condor sells them for more or less on their site, but I bought it from eBay for $70, and really like it. Great chopper for going camping.
Tell them a little bit about. Actually, if you guys have seen one of our videos we did, I don't know, a couple months back, we talked to a guy named Joe Tedeye, a really cool guy. He was on a show on the Discovery Channel called Dual Survival. And as the name implies, dual survival. It was two guys with extensive outdoors, like bushcrafting, survival type experience. This was Matt Graham. He was one of the guys. He actually was on with Joe. This was Matt Graham's, not only his knife of choice, but his actual own personal design.
Signature, yeah. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I don't know if the camera... Oh, my hands are over it. Let me hold the handle. You can see.
There you go, yeah.
Matt Graham.
I'll zoom in on that.
Yeah, it's a signature blade. And again, Matt's right. The application of this is bushcrafting. A lot of knives have completely different applications and are going to shine in different ways depending on what you're using for. If you're wanting to chop the bark off trees and use like one knife that's good for everything, this is a good knife for that bushcrafting. I really like it.
I think the idea behind that guy is that you can go out with that and you pretty much have an axe and a knife.
Yeah.
In one tool, because you can chop with that.
And when you have a spine that is thick as this, I don't know if you can see the chunkiness. You can really baton it well. So you can get a piece of large wood, baton it into a piece of wood. It can help you to make a makeshift shelter if you want to do that.
You could do some work with that knife.
Make some firewood easily. And it has a good enough edge that stays sharp enough. Now, this isn't the best steel in the world, but I think that there's a reason for that. I mean, maybe you don't want to pay for the highest steel possible in order to be affordable. It's 420. 420 is I believe, a stainless mix, but this does have some carbon in it. It's not a low carbon, it's a medium carbon, an MC, but it is a stainless. So with stainless, you don't get as much corrosion, you don't get as much wear and tear that you see on it, but it doesn't stay as sharp. That's the kind of
two good examples of the carbon. While you were saying that, I realized would be these Opinels. These are two identical knives. One, the color is irrelevant. This one is carbon,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
and this one is
Oh yeah. It's a great
stainless
comparison.
steel.
Yeah. Yeah. See if you can
And they're
show
the
that
same
to the camera.
blade,
You could look at the difference of that.
and they've been used the same. They've been taken care of the same.
One is like a mirror, and the other one is like
Right.
you could already see it's got a bit of a patina going on.
And this one, while it's always beautiful, dulls out a little faster than this one. This one is razor sharp. This is my second sharpest open now.
Right,
It's very sharp.
Your
It
high
holds an
carbon
edge.
knives are going to hold edge. Another thing that high carbons do that stainless steel knives or medium carbons knives like this one, actually this one probably will do it too. But when you're in a survival situation, you can start a fire. You can actually get some sparks off of certain types of rocks.
Yeah, you can strike. That's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
Like quartz and a couple
Yeah,
others.
that's right. I actually, you're the one that told me that. I've never
Yeah.
seen that done, but like
The
not.
lighter rocks.
You're not
No,
just
we
talking like a
experimented with it.
ferro rod. You mean
No,
like
not
actual
just a ferro
quartz.
rod. hmm
So, you said the carbon one can do that, right?
Carbon,
So
high carbon
this
knives can
one-
do that. Yeah, that one could do
This
it.
one and that one. These are both.
Yeah,
This
let's see
is-
your high carbon knives. That's a beautiful knife. By the way, of your knife collection, this is my probably second favorite. And
Well, let me before we get to that one, let me show them my favorite.
okay, show me.
And this one is unrelated. You know what? I'm gonna edit that. I'll come back because this is unrelated to the
okay,
topic. So okay, this is my second favorite. My first favorite is my kukri, which we'll get to later.
Yeah, you know what? Let's talk about Damascus after this. That'd be a
Yeah,
good
and
topic.
that's a great example of Damascus. That thing is gorgeous. So this is my version of this is he's got his Condor. This is mine. I went with this one. Just reading reviews. It's a Moraniv.
Awesome.
From Sweden, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. It's got that plastic case that you'd expect like a gardener to wear.
Yeah, it's got a really durable plastic case with drain holes. It's just super practical.
By the way,
It's reversible.
when you first see it, you're like, "That's not an attractive case." I love that case. That's a great case.
Slick. It's just it's not like maybe as nice as some of these leather ones, of course, but
I
it
kind of
just
like
works.
it better in some ways. I just kind of dig the plastic, hard plastic case.
It's
like
cool,
that.
huh?
Yeah.
It really is kind of neat. I mean, that's
Very convenient. It's
Yeah.
like you drop it in, drop it out. With
It's
a
a
leather
tool.
case, you always have a little bit of a drag getting them out of it.
yeah. It's always you
Like
always
this
kind of have
case
to be
is kind
careful
of you have to be
because you
careful.
don't want to cut the leather.
Right.
That's always my big fear. You know,
And
this I
that's
just,
molded just perfectly.
just drop it in
Yeah.
and it stays.
And it stays and clicks. I like it.
So the reason I picked this particular Moraniv, and he got his first, and I was like, I got to get my bushcraft. In spite of all of these, none of them were like the perfect bushcraft knife. So I wanted a perfect bushcraft knife. So I picked this one because I like Moraniv. I like it's Swedish. It's good steel. It's high carbon, C100, I believe.
Yeah, that's a high carbon.
It has a
too.
high hardness rating. I got it for a couple reasons. One, it's a full tang, which I mean I think we both have think that a full tang is ideal, right? Like
Yeah,
as
it's
opposed
pretty
to
awesome.
like a hidden tang or a
That's actually like a through tang because you've got the end of the
end of the tang
Yeah.
sticks out, which I love. It is mold. It's this hard molded plastic, so it does actually cover the tang, but it does run all the way through.
and because that's high carbon steel, you're going to be able to use that as part of your ferro rod fairly easily.
Exactly, and it's at a 90-degree grind, just like the spine. So instead of having to use the blade to strike, I can
strike there.
I can strike with that, or probably like that, so the blade's away from
I've
me.
seen a guy actually sharpen that. Yeah.
Like put an edge on it.
No, you want to sharpen.
Sharpen the
edge.
spine.
Yeah.
And this has that sharp 90-degree spine, and I've used it
Exactly.
to strike a couple times, and it just
It
throws
works
sparks.
great. That knife works so great. That's
Yeah.
a great survival. It's small, it's compact, but it's just perfect. I mean, you could do just about anything you need in a survivor
It
situation.
just seems very practical.
Other than chop down trees and
can't-
stuff like this one.
That's right. That's the one downside about
this
this
one's going to
knife.
build a shelter a little easier. Yeah.
If I'm going to carry this, I would need, and I have we didn't bring all our stuff. I have a
knife.
beautiful axe,
Yeah.
a Fisker's Nord, which has the wooden head. Oh, it's beautiful.
Right.
So I would need to carry that along with this to be able to do the things that he would do. But then again, there's the advantage of a smaller. So anyway, that's the knife I went with there.
Pretty good universal application for just about anything.
I would think, yeah.
Although if I'm going to carry a pocket knife, That probably isn't the one because it's a little bit too visible, and
It's a
it
little
may
too
not be as
visible.
comfortable to carry as an everyday carry.
Right.
Um,
And as you
though
did,
some may have, knives at their belt loop all the time. In California, maybe that's not as
it's
kosher.
not. It's pretty frowned upon.
So instead, I actually carry the open L's. I carry an open L. in my
Yeah,
pocket.
they're really great toss in your pocket. But because you'll all probably point it out.
Yeah.
Yes, this is brand new, and I have not used it yet. Josh has used the Condor a few times.
Yeah.
He's done. We've done projects, and he's worked with that.
But-
I haven't
but-
had a chance yet, but I will.
By the way, I don't know if you guys can see in the camera well, but Matt has a very large selection of open L's over here. And
Yeah.
and I have some. My son has some.
Yeah, there are like
we've
three
got
more in
so
this house
many
somewhere,
open L's
yeah.
in this house. And one thing to keep in mind is people criticized our open L video because we did complain about the quality of some of them. Please know we have a lot of open L's. So when we're comparing relative to other like quality open L's.
Right.
And it was never a critique meant to say that we don't love them. We
do
love them.
Yeah, we
We've
absolutely
got
love
so
them.
many. We absolutely understand what they are, that they're cheap, that they're great little tools, and all of the suggestions about how to repair them, how to make them better. We appreciate those, but
In
we
fact,
do understand.
I totally forgot about this, but one of you actually in one of our open L videos, one of you suggested that we buy an Antonini
Yeah, Antonini, it's a neat one.
to compare it because it's sort of a comparable knife, about the same price. This Open L's French, this is Italian. It's got some history, kind of like Open L does, which I think the history of Open L's will make them really special.
We could make a comparison video. There are comparison videos on there. One thing I don't like about the Antonini is the fact that if I'm cutting it, it is going to wobble. You're going to get a little bit of that wobble in the...
That's what really kind of and I actually really like it. I like it a lot.
It's a beautiful... And I mean, use-wise, getting the blade out,
See if I can show
locking it in is much easier.
Yeah, the thumb lock.
The thumb lock seems like a great concept,
We should
but
have
it
a
does
second camera.
wobble when you lock it in, unlike the Open L, which has zero wobble.
This one's easier to open and much easier to lock. You can do it. But yeah, listen. And there's nothing with the Open L because it's sort of
It's just
like a
solid.
camber lock. You can keep twisting until it tightens up.
This one's kind of pretty, though, I have to admit.
It's beautiful. I really do love it.
Either one. Buy either one. They're both good. They're both cheap.
Yeah,
You know?
absolutely.
You're not going to waste any money with these guys. You're
No.
going to use them.
You'll use it.
I've used my Open L to death. I've used and abused.
I always have at least one of these Open L's sitting on my desk.
Oh, yeah.
And I use it like every
oh
single
my
day.
gosh. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're so useful.
Yeah.
So our recommendation for a budget pocket knife, 100% Open L.
Grab an Open L.
Or
Or two of them.
Antonini. I mean,
Or
it's,
an Antonini, yeah. It's
fine.
Again, the Open L's are sharper. They just come with just a razor grind. This one is a little, it's just intentionally ground different. It's probably a little more durable, but it's just not quite as sharp. And the build is just as good. He uses, this is walnut actually. I actually prefer this walnut
Love
to
the look at the handle.
to the beach. Yeah, it's really nice. I like this sort of gold collar here, but again,
They both have that really cool handle design that helps you actually open the blade. I think that's
yeah, and they both are bump opens where you can.
Yeah, we got a lot of comments telling us about the bump opens. That's definitely one thing that we looked at
Especially,
right away.
Open L's are harder to open for me. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I actually ground. Do you see what I did to this one?
You don't have nails. That's the problem.
I don't. I have no fingernails because I bite them.
None.
So I actually ground the wood there so that I'm able to open. This is my 9, I think. Number 9.
You're hilarious.
See? Do you see what I did?
I do see what you did there. Yeah.
And you know what?
I didn't notice until now.
It makes it.
You
I couldn't
ground-
open it. The only way to do it was to just thump
that's
this thing, and then.
All right. Well.
So that's those. You
Well,
wanna talk about Damascus?
Let's talk about Damascus. Yeah.
Okay, so
So there's different types of Damascus. There is the kind you could get at a corner store, a liquor store, a mall knife shop, a Renaissance fair booth, and it's usually a random pattern Damascus. Sometimes it's real Damascus, and I do believe that this is real Damascus.
that one is so beautiful. Yeah, that
But
looks good.
if you've
Let me
ever
see
had
the-
if you've ever had the opportunity
Yeah.
to get a Damascus blade that has a legit pattern, you're
Oh,
lucky.
yeah.
Most
They're rare.
blades are random compressed patterns, and this is one. So if you're looking to figure out if this is raindrop, or if you have a blade like mine, you're like, is it raindrop? Is it ladder?
chances are it's not.
It's probably random.
And if it is, you're probably going to be very aware of it because
Yeah.
those deliberate patterns, they're really difficult.
Yeah.
Like it takes these dudes are just like
Oh, they're masters.
masters that do it. So it's just another level of difficulty. It's going to probably be another level of expense.
Sure.
And they're really distinct.
So
That doesn't mean that random Damascus isn't a beautiful thing because we both have some.
Yeah,
and
yours
we
is
love
random
them.
Damascus, and I think the biggest difference between one that has sort of a painted on Damascus, and I
my
hear a lot
pride
of people,
and joy.
a lot of people talk about painted on Damascus that's actually applied later or
It's like
etched
etched on, yeah.
Yeah, and it's fake.
That's fake.
This one's not fake, and the way you could tell is usually looking at the grain on the spine, or look. This one's a dagger, so it doesn't have a spine, or you could just feel it. You could
This
feel
one,
the grain.
yeah.
This one, you could
feel it.
literally on mats, you could feel the different layers of Damascus on it, and then you look on the spine, and you could see the Damascus.
This
in the spine.
was a birthday or Christmas?
Yeah, this
birthday
is a
present
modified kukri.
from the Josh
Yeah.
family.
It's a kukri Bowie, or Bowie. Yeah, I don't know. How you-
Yeah. It
It's
just
it's
is
a
slightly
chunky
slimmer
chomper.
on the top here instead of coming out a little bit more, and it has that secondary edge, that false edge.
Yeah.
So it's just a little lighter
Mhm.
and kind of more refined, if you ask
I
me.
think that thing would be a great chopper. You could probably baton it with that chunky spine.
I
think
could
that,
probably.
I think
put-
your spine on
at that.
that
Oh, there we
thing
go.
is actually thicker than my Matt Graham knife, my Condor.
You think so? I don't know.
I think
They're
so.
probably
Yeah, just a little bit.
a little bit.
You've got your little caliper measurement tool. You could probably measure it.
But look at the handle on this thing, and the end there, the end piece is
Also
Damascus,
Yeah.
and the pommel is. I don't know if you guys could see that. This thing is gorgeous. I'll never use this for anything. Oh, Tootie. I'll never use this for anything. This to me is an absolute work of art, and I
Yeah.
love
It's
it.
a great one.
We have two more Damascus here. This one, this is an old knife, like from maybe like 1980, 1979, 80, something like that. It's filthy right now because it's high carbon. It's a skinning knife. It's a Western.
Yeah.
The
it's a
year that they were bought by
aggressive skinning
Coleman.
knife.
Yeah. And this is actually a Damascus high carbon blade, but the pattern is so in there. She's upset. The pattern is so in there. It's just unless
give me a
it's
pause.
really highly polished, it's really hard to see.
Yeah.
But this is a really special knife to me just because of how old it is, and it has a really neat. It's a full tang with scales with inlays. It's beautiful, but this end piece is like a cap that's double pinned, and you can.
Yeah, you could tell whoever had it before
Yeah, it's
definitely
been
used that
keyed,
cap to do things.
So
that is one aggressive knife.
Yeah. This is, and it holds an edge too. It never, it tarnishes faster than any other blade I have.
Right.
But it holds an edge.
Cool.
My other skinner, nothing special. This is a bespoke post knife.
Yeah, if you go on Bespoke, they do have knives. They're decent. Does this one say what kind of quality steel it is?
It didn't.
It didn't.
It's,
Oh, it does right there. It's stainless, isn't
Oh.
it? No, it doesn't.
That's just a brand name.
real simple. I'm sorry.
And then this is the other Damascus that we've
looks
been talking
stainless.
about. Josh deduced this is probably, would you say, about 70 layered?
Probably 80 layer.
70, 80 layers.
Yeah.
It is a Samurai. You can find these pretty easily on Amazon for like, $80. And it's titanium. And just a nice Damascus. And honestly, this is a really slick one. I love it.
That's a very slick knife. Yeah.
It's got ball bearings, so it's ceramic.
Yeah, it's very nice. That's a cool knife. I like
This
that
is
one.
a nice one.
That's one of my favorite ones that you have.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about steel quality. That was a question that we had. People were like, how do you know the quality of the steel when you look at it, or
They were asking about these two.
It's honestly, you're looking at the quality of the grind, and when you look at the edge, how easily does that edge, bend or move or warp or take chips or glinting. I think that's the main way. If you break a knife in half, you can obviously see the grain pattern.
Yeah. We have one in the backyard that we snapped the tip off, and you could see the grain in it.
Yeah, and you can see it's
Cheap.
not good grain. It's
Right.
thick grain. You want a very small, at the very most sugar-sized grain. That's the best you can really, want. Obviously, the higher carbon, I believe, has the smaller grain, whereas some of the, lower carbon ones you might not, but
More stainless ones might have a bigger grain, maybe. Yeah.
and the distinction when you look at a knife visually is: are you looking at the actual grind marks or the grain? It is hard to see with the naked eye. I'll be honest, and I know someone had commented like, "How do you see with the naked eye?"
They asked.
Well, you probably don't easily without the knife
No,
being
you
split
gotta
in half.
you
But
gotta
you
get in
can.
there. Especially, and in my opinion, it becomes easier the cheaper the steel is.
That's true. You could
Because if you get something like this where it's really cheap,
you could see a little bit of the pattern.
it looks grainy.
Yeah,
especially
and
down
again,
the
grain versus actually looking through the grind, which your grind is going to leave some marks.
yeah, not the grind marks, right?
Yeah, you're not looking at the grind
Right.
marks. That is what it is. That was
But maybe that is probably for me. I can look at steel and I could tell, is it super cheap
yeah.
or not? And then after that, I need to learn what the actual steel is, because
Yeah, exactly.
you can tell really cheap steel.
Like I can look at your little chopper here, your little kitchen chopper that you use. This is maybe the knife you use the most.
of all of these knives,
You use
this
that on
one
a
probably
daily
gets
basis.
used most. I use this every single day.
Yeah. Now you can see the grind marks from here,
Mm-hmm.
but can I see the grain? No, I can't see the grain from here. Obviously not. But
This
I think
has been actually, I've had this for about a year and a half, I think.
yeah, it's a nice stainless steel.
Yeah, it's held up pretty well. I had to sit down and take the
Right.
time and reprofile. I had to really reprofile it because it was
And you do have to because it's
was pretty
stainless,
badly
and stainless steel needs to be sharpened. It just
chopped bone regularly, things like that. I mean, this gets used. This
Yeah.
gets used a
Definitely,
lot.
definitely.
That's the only reason I included it. I think it's really funny because if you use like Google Translate to translate what that says, it says something funny like the literal translation is kitchen sword, cooking sword, or something
Cooking
like
sword.
that. It's
Nice.
awesome. I'm like, that's my
I like
sword.
the idea of a cooking sword.
I do too.
So
I do very much.
When it comes down to what we look for, and these are just like maybe half the knives we have,
Mm-hmm.
just ones that we were wanting to show the people. You just want to look at the application of what you want to use the knife for. Sometimes how cool it is. You just want to look. I mean, that kukri Bowie knife combo is just cool to look
I mean,
at. Great
it
Damascus.
Oh, you didn't. Well, you did a video on it already, but your karambit's pretty sweet also.
Yeah.
I was looking at it earlier, and I've commented. I don't typically like painted blades.
Mhm.
I like a black blade, but not a painted blade. Yours isn't painted. It's got a really cool like gray coating, kind of like this blade.
Mm-hmm.
This is an interesting one that I bought, and I thought it was bigger. It was going to be my bushcraft knife, but
Yeah.
the handle is so small.
I think
I do have big freaking hands, but still.
Yeah. So I think that when you're looking for a knife, you're looking at the application, right? You're gonna look at what you like.
What are you gonna do
physically,
with it?
You physically want that's appealing to you, right? Do you want a kukri style just because it's awesome? A Bowie knife because it's a classic, amazing knife. Drop point, how
Yeah.
aggressive do you want your drop point? I mean, these kinds of things are what you're gonna look at when you want to use the knife or want to show the knife. Maybe you just want it to because you're an enthusiast. Or you want a pocket knife that's super simple, like an open-O.
Yeah. I have
or-
reasons for like these. Like for
Everything.
instance, these. I bought these for when we go on our walks through the hood. I'm not joking.
No,
It's legal.
it's this one.
Oh,
It's this one.
those are.
Yeah, Walks to the Hood used to be like.
I never carry those.
No, you don't.
Because
you can't carry these.
They're illegal.
They're illegal to carry, but you can have them. That's an interesting distinction, right?
Well, okay. You actually cannot buy these in California. Just FYI.
No.
If you go on Grindworks, great website.
You can, but you can have them. I think there's nothing illegal.
There's a way around it. I'm not going to tell anybody how to do it because I'm not going to promote bad behavior.
Okay,
but
okay,
if you
no
spend
bad behavior.
some time on the website, there's a way to get these shipped to you. But that being said, keeping them as a collector item or to like open letters and stuff like that, that's fine.
And that's it. That's the cool factor of it. But I think there's different stages of knife collecting when you become an enthusiast, and one becomes when you are becoming like the steel nerd, and not nerd in a bad way, but nerd in a cool way. Like
a purist.
Yeah, you really dig steel. Sometimes you really start getting into it, and you want to really dig in. What is 420 MCHC? What is 1095? Right?
Or C100. I'm just learning what that is.
Yeah, that's a C100. A nice, really good carbon steel. So, and these are often, honestly, the things that make the knives expensive or not expensive, rather than just the look of it.
The design. Or it frequently, I think you're right. I think it is the quality of the steel more than anything.
And at the end of the day, I think that steel is probably the most important thing. Of course, who doesn't want like an amazing pattern Damascus, know?
Well, I don't know. And
get you a feather Damascus sword. That'd be awesome.
What do you think? This is always something I wonder about. Now, this is a flipping work of art.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's one reason you might want to buy a blade.
But I mean, you just got to have one. This is that one that I just hold sometimes. Just to look at. I'm just like,
right.
Oh,
you want
woodwork.
You want that Paul Hogan moment from Crocodile Dundee? That's
not a knife. This is a knife. Imagine I pulled that out on somebody.
Oh yeah.
But I've always wondered if you were to take this blade and another one that was identical in dimensions, but cut out of a freaking leaf spring, just solid steel, which do you think would hold up to like a strength test on Forge and Fire?
Probably the one that's higher carbon. Damascus can be very high carbon. It depends.
It's less really about the pattern and more about the content of
content of the steel. And honestly, with Damascus, it's hard. They rarely print what the mixture was on there.
That's true.
I myself love the pattern of a Gomai with nickel in it. Nickel and Gomai.
Oh, because it gets that black look. Is that where it's that really pronounced black? Yeah. Oh, that's such a beautiful.
And that's probably pretty tough. Actually, nickel is known for adding toughness.
Oh, interesting.
So, anyways, that's all of our thoughts on knives and just what we look for in quality and just thoughts. And are we professionals? No. Are we like experienced? I mean, a little. We watch a lot of. We use them.
We use them and we
use them and abuse them.
We use them. We use them a lot. If you've seen some videos, you've seen the thing in the backyard with all the axes and all the. He made this amazing wood mallet. We use them. We're definitely not pros, but we are in love with them and we like learning about them. So this is a learning thing for us. So we're just steadily learning, picking up some knives on the way. Nothing fancy because A, we're still learning.
Yeah.
And B, I like knives, and I think I'd rather get 5 knives than one, even if maybe they're not. You know what I mean?
So I think when it comes to knives, I would welcome suggestions and comments, things that help us learn more.
Absolutely.
What we don't welcome is like gatekeeping comments from people who are much more experienced or know a lot more than us that are just going to be like,
that's all.
So those kind of comments we don't enjoy, but
stay humble.
Yeah, you know what? Hey, it's fun. I mean, we're just out using.
We're all here learning, but we do definitely we definitely are open to suggestions, thoughts, opinions. Maybe if something you heard us say today wasn't correct, please correct us.
It's fine.
Yeah, for sure. We're trying to learn.
We're not pros.
We're not pros.
We're not bladesmiths.
I can only assume anybody watching this right now at this point is like super into knives.
Sure.
And that makes me like you already. You got to be cool if you're sitting watching these two dudes just jabber on about
knives,
a table full of knives. But we love it. If you can't tell,
we use them for all kinds of stuff. Carving. We made spoons recently.
Yeah, we'll show you
We'll show you
those
the
another
spoons
day.
later.
But we've made some pretty slick spoons, definitely.
All right.
All
So,
right, guys.
thank you for watching.
Thank
I
you
know
for
you
watching.
hung on there kind of long with this, but please don't forget.
Like and subscribe, definitely. And thank you for hanging out. We really appreciate it. And liking and subscribing, of course. You heard it all before. And hitting that little bell. It really is the best way to make sure we can hang out again. And it means the world to us.
Yeah.
Every one of you. We just adore you. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. We know our thoughts. We want to know yours in the comments below. So, all right. We'll talk to you next time.
Shing.